Forget the muscle. Forget the flashy suits and the brutal enforcers. In the shadowy world of American organized crime, the true power didn't always wield a weapon. Sometimes it wielded a pen, and a mind sharper than any blade. This is the story of a man who built an empire not on fear, but on numbers, a quiet genius who ran the financial backbone of the American Mafia for half a century, becoming arguably the most powerful, and certainly the most elusive, mobster in history. He survived countless wars, outfoxed the FBI, and died a free man, leaving behind a fortune that vanished like smoke. But how did a small, unassuming Jewish immigrant become the criminal underworld's indispensable financial architect? The answer lies in a story woven with ambition, betrayal, and a chilling intellect. It's 1979. A man in his late 70s, frail but with eyes that still hold a glint of steel, sits in his Miami home. He spent decades as America's most wanted, the silent partner in crimes that shaped the nation. Yet, the government couldn't touch him. No major convictions. No long prison sentences. His name? Meyer Lansky, the undisputed financial wizard of the American mob. They called him the mob's accountant, but that title barely scratched the surface. He was the architect of their global operations, the man who turned illegal ventures into legitimate fortunes, and then made those fortunes disappear. While Capone reveled in the spotlight and Luciano orchestrated violence, Lansky, the quiet man behind the scenes, was the one truly pulling the strings, a ghost in the machine. How did a man so deeply entrenched in the darkest corners of crime manage to slip through every net, evade every capture, and die peacefully in his own bed? The secret was his mind, and a meticulous, ruthless understanding of numbers. Our story begins far from the opulent casinos and smoky backrooms, in the cramped, bustling tenements of New York's Lower East Side. Meyer Lansky was born in Grodno, Russia, in 1902, to Polish-Jewish parents. Life was hard, marked by poverty and anti-Semitism. In 1911, seeking a new beginning, the family immigrated to the United States, shortening their name to Lansky. Young Meyer was bright, exceptionally so. He devoured books, particularly history and mathematics, but his true education came on the unforgiving streets. It was here, in the melting pot of immigrant struggle, that Meyer met two figures who would change his destiny. One was Benjamin Siegel, a charismatic, volatile young street tough who would become infamous as Bugsy. The other, even more pivotal, was Charles Lucky Luciano, a Sicilian kid with ambition burning in his eyes. Their first encounter was legendary. Luciano, a few years older, tried to extort protection money from the smaller, younger Lansky. Meyer, despite his size, refused to back down. Impressed by his defiance, Luciano offered him a partnership instead. It was an unlikely alliance, the calculating Jew and the fiery Italian, but it forged a bond that would redefine American organized crime. While Luciano had the muscle and the connections to the traditional Sicilian mafia, Lansky had something else, a cold, hard logic that saw beyond brute force. He understood that violence was a tool, but money was the engine, and he was about to prove just how powerful that engine could be. The Prohibition era was a goldmine for anyone bold enough to defy the law. For Lansky, Luciano, and Siegel, it was an unprecedented opportunity. They started small, running dice games and protection rackets, but Lansky's genius quickly elevated their game. He saw the inefficiency in disparate criminal operations. While others fought bloody turf wars, Lansky envisioned a streamlined, corporate structure. He and Luciano formed the Bugs and Meyer mob, specializing in liquor smuggling and gambling. But unlike their brutal contemporaries, Lansky brought an almost surgical precision to their illicit ventures. He established meticulously organized distribution networks, paid off police with systematic efficiency, and even invested in legitimate businesses as fronts. He understood cash flow, logistics, and, most importantly, how to make illegal money look legal. This wasn't just street crime, this was a business. A dark, illicit business, but a business nonetheless. Lansky's skills were so invaluable that he quickly transcended his ethnic background, earning the respect of even the most traditional mafia bosses. He became Luciano's indispensable consigliere, the quiet voice of reason and strategy. When the bloody Castellamarese War erupted in the early 1930s, pitting old-world Sicilian bosses against the younger, more ambitious generation, it was Lansky, alongside Luciano, who engineered its brutal conclusion. They orchestrated the murders of traditional bosses Joe Masuria and Salvatore Maranzano, paving the way for the creation of the Commission, a national syndicate of crime families designed to avoid internal wars and maximize profits. Lansky was a key architect of this new era, a revolutionary concept that transformed isolated gangs into a powerful, unified criminal enterprise. He had moved beyond street-level thuggery, becoming a master strategist in a deadly game. But the real game, the one that would secure his legend, was just beginning to unfold on the global stage. With the commission established, Lansky's influence soared. He became the mob's global financial manager, identifying new territories for expansion and developing sophisticated money laundering schemes. His most ambitious project? Cuba. In the 1930s and 40s, Lansky saw the island nation as a golden opportunity, a tropical paradise ripe for gambling and prostitution. He forged a close relationship with Cuban dictator Fulgencio Batista, pouring millions into Havana's development, transforming it into a lavish playground for American tourists and a massive cash cow for the syndicate. The elegant Hotel Nacional, the opulent Riviera Casino, these were Lansky's creations, monuments to his vision and the mob's insatiable greed. His network spanned continents, from offshore accounts in Switzerland to legitimate investments in hotels, casinos, and real estate. Lansky meticulously laundered billions. He wasn't just managing money, he was making it disappear and reappear cleaner than ever, leaving no paper trail. While others were embroiled in petty turf wars, Lansky was thinking like a CEO, expanding market share, diversifying assets, and minimizing risk. He was the brain behind the muscle, the quiet force that ensured the mob's vast criminal enterprise remained financially solvent and increasingly untouchable. During World War II, he even put his skills at the government's disposal, helping the Navy counter German U-boat sabotage in New York's harbors, a chilling testament to his complex loyalties. But even a financial genius like Lansky couldn't control everything. A political upheaval was brewing just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, and it threatened to shatter his meticulously constructed empire. The Cuban Revolution of 1959 was a catastrophic blow to Lansky's empire. Fidel Castro's rise to power meant the immediate nationalization of all casinos and businesses. Millions of dollars in investments vanished overnight. Lansky, ever the pragmatist, saw the writing on the wall and tried to salvage what he could, but it was a losing battle. The opulent casinos, once symbols of his power, were now empty shells. This wasn't betrayal by a fellow mobster, this was the uncontrollable hand of history. Back in the United States, the heat was intensifying. The Kefauver Committee hearings in the 1950s, followed by Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy's relentless war on organized crime in the 1960s, put unprecedented pressure on the mob. Key figures were being arrested, prosecuted, and imprisoned. Lansky, despite his extraordinary ability to remain in the shadows, found himself under increasing scrutiny. The FBI, led by J. Edgar Hoover, made him a prime target, determined to bring down the elusive mob's accountant. They knew he held the keys to countless secrets, the financial blueprint of an entire criminal underworld. But catching Lansky was like trying to grasp smoke. He had perfected the art of plausible deniability, of operating through layers of intermediaries, and of meticulously destroying any incriminating evidence. Despite intense surveillance and numerous investigations, the government struggled to build a solid case against him. Lansky was aging, and the pressure was immense, but his cunning mind was still at work. He had one last gambit to play, a desperate move that would test the limits of his legendary ingenuity. In 1970, facing a grand jury indictment for income tax evasion, Meyer Lansky fled to Israel, seeking refuge under the law of return, which grants Jews the right to settle in the country. He hoped to live out his final years in peace, but the U.S. government wasn't finished with him. After 2 years of intense diplomatic pressure and legal battles, Israel, unwilling to harbor an alleged crime boss, deported him back to the United States. Lansky faced trial, but true to form, he beat the most serious charges, ultimately being acquitted of income tax evasion in 1974. He paid a minor penalty for contempt of court, but remarkably, he avoided a major conviction. Meyer Lansky died of lung cancer in Miami Beach in 1983, at the age of 81. He passed away a free man, a rare feat for someone so deeply enmeshed in organized crime. When he died, the FBI estimated his net worth to be around $300 million. Yet, after his death, the vast fortune he was believed to control seemingly vanished. His family inherited very little, leading to endless speculation. Did he bury it? Did he transfer it to secret offshore accounts that remain undiscovered to this day? The mystery of Lansky's lost millions is as enduring as his legend. He left behind no great memoirs, no tell-all confessions. His legacy is one of chilling efficiency, of turning crime into a corporate enterprise, and of a mind so sharp it could navigate the most treacherous waters and emerge unscathed. He was the quiet man who outsmarted everyone, a testament to the idea that in the underworld, true power often wears a suit and carries a ledger, not a gun. And perhaps, somewhere, the numbers he made disappear are still waiting to be found.